That morning, I was on duty at school when I suddenly heard a commotion. Several guys had started a fight. One boy stood aside, watching everything with a frightened expression. He was so cute, with huge eyes and an almost girlish face. For some reason, I immediately wanted to protect him, so I stepped in. Since then, I couldn't get him out of my mind. I wanted at least one more chance to see him. From Hirano, I learned that his name was Miyano, which class he was in, and that he absolutely loved manga. The next morning, I was lucky. I ran into him again. Unable to resist, I told him he was cute. He blushed and looked shy. From that moment on, I constantly wanted to see him, talk to him, even just be near him. I asked Miyano to recommend something to read. Blushing, he handed me a volume in a bag and warned me not to open it in public. He said it was a BL manga and immediately added that he wasn't that kind of person and just liked interesting stories. The next morning, I met him again in the hallway to tell him I had read the manga. I really enjoyed it, even though I had never read anything like it before. He warned me that such things shouldn't be talked about aloud. We shared our impressions with each other. I talked about mine, he about his, with such a sparkle in his eyes that I caught myself thinking I wanted to listen to him forever. I asked him for another volume. The next day, as a token of gratitude, I brought cookies I had baked myself in home economics. Later, I looked for him to return the manga. Any excuse just to talk. I wanted to know everything about him, if he liked sweets, how much cake he could eat. It turned out that sweets upset his stomach, and he preferred candies with wasabi. Sometimes I ask myself why I like him so much. Yes, he's cute, but he's a boy. And yet, remembering our first meeting, I realized that the feelings I had then were real. When I first saw Miyano in my class, I couldn't resist and placed my hands on his shoulders, just to make sure he wasn't a girl. After that, I couldn't focus on studying anymore. I was sitting on the school steps, waiting out the rain, when Miyano came over, opened his umbrella, and suggested we walk to the station together. We walked side by side, and the world seemed quieter. After a fight, I was sitting holding my side when Miyano approached. He asked if I was okay. I looked up and realized I love him. I couldn't hide it any longer. So I asked him to go out with me. After classes, I suggested to Miyano that we walk home together, but he refused. He said he wanted to stop by the bookstore to get a new manga. I caught up with him in the hallway and said I could go with him. Miyano blushed. If he went to the yaoi section with a guy, the whole store would start whispering. I offered to wait for him by another shelf, and then he agreed. He really did get flustered when he approached the yaoi shelves. He looked so cute that I could barely hold back a smile. The next day, I found Miyano to return the volume I'd finished reading and ask for a new one. He asked again if I really like that genre. After all, he's the one into yaoi, and I'm not even familiar with it. I couldn't help myself and said I just wanted to get to know my favorite person better. Miyano immediately pushed me out of the classroom before I could say anything even dumber. During the break, I saw Miyano by the window, listening to his music player. Curiosity got the better of me, and I slipped one of his earphones into my ear. It turned out to be a yaoi audiobook. Miyano started making excuses, clearly nervous, and I couldn't resist teasing him a little. He blushed, begged me to forget what I'd heard. It was way too adorable. Another time, I came to suggest playing a popular game with him. 2 people bite the same snack stick, and whoever pulls away first loses. Honestly, I just wanted to see what would happen. Maybe we'd accidentally kiss. I laughed it off as a joke and handed him the stick. Miyano bit off a piece right from my hand. I couldn't take it. I left the classroom. That image just wouldn't leave my mind. He'd completely let his guard down, and I wasn't sure I could keep mine up much longer. If I hugged him and pulled him close, it would definitely make him uncomfortable. Better to keep some distance for now. Later, I found Miyano again and asked if people often tried to hit on him. There were always some guys hanging around him, like Hirano, for example. But Miyano assured me that Hirano was an uke, and his partner was his roommate. Many guys in their all-boys school had girlfriends from other schools. Miyano himself admitted he got into yaoi by accident. He bought a manga without realizing what it was and got hooked. And here I thought he'd chosen an all-boys school because he liked guys more than girls. After school, I dragged him into a gift shop. Before Valentine's Day, they were selling all kinds of cute things. I suggested we each buy a box of chocolates and exchange them tomorrow. Miyano refused, but I secretly bought some sweets for him anyway. The next day, on our way home, I jokingly asked how many chocolates he'd gotten. Miyano said 36. I was stunned. Whatever he said next, I didn't even hear. When I got home, I locked myself in my room and lay there for hours, staring at the ceiling, holding the gift I never managed to give him. One thought kept haunting me. Who gave Miyano the very first of those 36 chocolates?
Today I came to school much earlier than usual. Exams are coming soon and Hirano promised to help me study. In the hallway, I met Miyano and suggested we grab some cocoa. I burned myself a little and he laughed, saying that I must have a very sensitive tongue. Then he added that he'd read somewhere that people like that usually have clumsy tongues, and maybe they're clumsy when it comes to kissing too. Turns out he'd been thinking about it for a few days. Realizing he'd said too much, Miyano blushed deeply and got really embarrassed. I told him we could test that theory on me. Miyano looked at me with his big eyes, handed me another volume of manga, and hurried away. I just stood there, thinking about what he'd said. How much I wanted to touch him. After class, I suggested we go home together and stop by the bookstore on the way. A new manga was coming out today. Imagine my surprise when Miyano came to my classroom after lessons in broad daylight. We stepped aside to a quiet spot and he handed me a gift. It turns out today was White Day, and that was his way of thanking me for Valentine's Day. I asked him to wait a little. I wanted to give him something too, but sitting by my classroom door, I just couldn't calm my racing heart. After I finally pulled myself together, I brought Miyano a whole bag of sweets and told him to pick the ones he liked. Later, one of our classmates found out what kind of manga we read and started teasing us. He even asked Miyano if he ever fantasized about me. Miyano calmly replied that he hadn't thought of that yet. After school, we went to the bookstore again, hoping there'd be some new releases. It felt so nice choosing books together. I wanted so badly to touch Miyano's shoulder, but I held myself back. On the train ride home, Miyano fell asleep and rested his head on my shoulder. I leaned in and whispered in his ear that I loved him. He woke up suddenly and looked at me with those big, surprised eyes. Then I got off at my station. It was the last day before the holidays.
After the holidays, I met Miyano again on the train. At such an early hour, it's usually crowded here, so I prefer to take later trains. But for a chance to see Miyano, it was worth getting up early. As a joke, I offered him to sit on my lap. Of course, he refused, but he let me hold his bag. It was quite heavy, and I couldn't resist taking a peek inside. There was a new light novel. Miyano blushed, begged me not to open it in public, and quickly snatched it out of my hands. On the way to school, he told me the story, but this time I barely listened. I was just admiring him. A flower petal got caught in his hair. I gently removed it and didn't throw it away because it had touched his hair. Later, I found Miyano in his new classroom and remembered that I still hadn't returned the manga I borrowed before the holidays. We went for a walk, and I asked him to explain a few confusing parts of the story. At that moment, a guy walking by accidentally bumped into Miyano, and he fell right onto me. For a brief second, I had the rare chance to touch him. After that, I left class early because I couldn't concentrate anymore. That day, he had been too close. The next day, while walking down the hallway, I overheard Miyano talking to someone. Some guy was asking his height and said that it would make him easy to pat. When he reached out his hand, I couldn't hold myself back and hugged Miyano. It all happened suddenly. Later, it turned out that the guy, my classmate Ogasawara, had only been asking Miyano for advice on how to make up with his girlfriend, who happened to be a yaoi fan. Back in class, I couldn't calm down for a long time. It had all happened by accident, yet I couldn't stop thinking about it. Later, I met Miyano again when he was resting after PE class. At first, we talked about nothing in particular. Then I told him about a manga where two characters kissed through a mask. We discussed the scenes, shared our impressions, and it felt incredibly nice to talk to him. I didn't want everything to end after graduation. So I confessed my feelings to Miyano and said I wanted to go out with him. He stayed silent for a while, unsure what to say. His silence didn't sound like rejection, and that gave me hope. I told him he didn't need to answer right away, and he promised to think about it. Then he said goodbye and left. I couldn't calm down, but after some time, Miyano came back and asked what exactly I loved about him. The question caught me off guard, and I couldn't find the right words. Without thinking, I said it was his face, the first thing that came to mind. Only later did I realize how wrong that sounded. Left alone, I thought about him for a long time. Yes, I really like his face, but it's not just that. I love him for his eyes, for how sincerely he talks to me, for the way he looks straight into my eyes, for how he remembers everything we've talked about, for the White Day gift, for the way he listens, for everything Miyano has done for me. For all of that, I love him. It's so hard to express my feelings. The next day, Miyano wasn't feeling well and fell asleep right at his desk. I stayed nearby waiting for him to wake up. He was wearing a mask, and suddenly I wanted to touch him, just like in that manga I'd recently read. I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't help it, and brushed my hand against his lips. When Miyano went home, Hirano asked why he seemed so out of it and whether I had anything to do with it. I admitted that I had confessed my feelings to Miyano, but not in the way I wanted to. Now he was avoiding me. Hirano advised me to explain myself properly. Later, when I called Miyano, I finally told him the truth, that I loved everything about him, not just his face.
I met Miyano on the train. He asked why I had recently started leaving home earlier. I said that my classmate Hirano was helping me prepare for exams, and also that I really wanted to meet him earlier. I reminded him again that he didn't need to rush with his answer. On Friday, it was my birthday. After classes, I met Miyano on the train again. He gave me a candy and said it was a birthday present. Then, for some reason, he became very embarrassed. The next morning, we met at school. That day was just as hot as the day we first met. We walked slowly and shared memories. It turned out that we were both thinking about the same thing. A few days later, the season of school tests ended. I approached Miyano after class and congratulated him on it. It was raining outside, and he hadn't taken his umbrella. I kindly offered to walk him to the train with my umbrella, and he agreed. On the way, Miyano suddenly stopped and asked if I really preferred boys. I answered that no, I wouldn't say that. Then he asked why then I felt that way about him. I said that when I'm with him, I can't think about anything else, and I don't even know how to explain it. Miyano said that he really likes me, but as someone he admires. He loves yaoi, but he had never imagined himself as a character in such stories. He has a cute face, but he's a boy. I had to hold back my laughter. It was so adorable how he was saying it. Then he fell silent, thought for a moment, and said that he needed more time to sort out his feelings. He really wants to understand whether he could feel something more for me. Until now, he had been looking at yaoi from the outside, not from within. I thought about how unfairly he was treating me right now, but aloud I said that I was happy. How wonderful it is, after all, that I fell in love with him. And after saying goodbye, I couldn't resist again and touched him. After classes, I came to pick up Miyano, honestly telling him that I just wanted to spend some time close to the person I love. Hearing that, Miyano immediately blushed, just like he always does, and it touched me so much, it even made me smile. We walked down the road chatting softly about little things and enjoying a rare moment of calm. On the way, I stopped by a shop to buy some drinks, while Miyano stayed outside waiting for me.
When I came out, I saw Miyano standing next to some girl, hesitantly reaching toward her hand as if he was about to touch it. Something pricked sharply inside my chest. Without thinking, I rushed over, grabbed his hand, and pulled him away. Only later, when everything settled down, a wave of shame washed over me. I apologized for interrupting their conversation so abruptly. Deep down, I already knew who that girl was, and when we were alone, Miyano confirmed it. She was Makimura, the one he used to like back in elementary school. But he quietly added that he hadn't felt anything for her in a long time. That made me feel even worse. I hurt the person I love. From someone you love, you normally expect warmth and gentleness, not jealousy, and yet I created exactly that. Miyano blushed again, looking away, and that only made my guilt heavier. Still, the thought that Miyano had once liked a girl wouldn't leave my mind for a long time. The next morning, I went to school earlier than usual and met Miyano again. This time he asked what music I always listened to. We played a new album together, and it turned out we had the same taste. We both love CDs, collecting them, arranging them by artist. We even agreed to exchange the ones we have. I told him that I had bought a new manga during the holidays. Miyano lit up like a kid and asked me to tell him what I thought of it once I finished it. I promised I would. Then I said I needed to hurry to my class. In reality, I just couldn't hold myself back any longer. Otherwise, I would have ended up hugging him right there in the middle of the hallway. I asked Miyano whether he ever thought that when we walked together like this, we look like an actual couple. He quietly replied that we looked more like two school friends hurrying home after classes. But I'm not just a friend to him. Miyano let out a sad sigh and said that this is exactly why things are so difficult for him sometimes. The next morning in the school hallway, I saw Miyano again. He looked awful, with dark circles under his eyes. He had barely slept because he had been reading manga all night. I immediately noticed the hair clip in his bangs. He had put it on because he was tired of his fringe falling into his eyes. I couldn't help saying that he had a very cute forehead, then asked if I could kiss it. That little joke seemed to perk him up a bit. Still, I asked him to lower his bangs because his new hairstyle was making me strangely nervous. Then I gently brushed my fingers through his hair, thanked him softly, and left. Later, I found out that Miyano was participating in the school beauty contest. When I looked into his classroom, I saw him in a girl's outfit. He turned bright red the moment he saw me. I asked sharply whether he was really willing to go against himself just because his classmates wanted him to. A second later, I regretted my words and apologized. Then I asked him not to take part in the contest. He promised to talk to his classmates and try to find someone to replace him. It touched me deeply because he could have simply done what was easiest for the class, yet he hesitated. I hugged him tightly, repeating again and again how much I love him.
Miyano didn't push me away, but gently pulled me closer with his hand, as if he didn't want to let go. At one moment, there were only a few centimeters between us, and we almost kissed, but then a loud crash of fallen equipment broke the silence and shattered that fragile moment. As I was leaving, I quietly asked Miyano to forget everything I had just asked of him, yet even after that I couldn't stop myself from gently brushing my hand against his cheek, as if trying to memorize its warmth. The next day, Miyano found me himself. He looked nervous and said we needed to talk about the contest. He reminded me that I had asked him not to participate, but admitted that he probably wouldn't be able to grant that request. At first, he had been worried he would look too much like a girl, but now things were different. His classmates were helping him write a speech to win over the audience. The club president was working on his costume. Everyone was supporting him, and now he wanted to see it through to the end without giving up. I wished him luck and thanked him for opening up and sharing what was on his mind. I told him I cared about him, and we said goodbye.
Before leaving, Miyano unexpectedly suggested that we meet at the festival and take a walk together. On my way out, I ran into Hirano. He had overheard part of our conversation and asked whether Miyano had answered my feelings. I said no, but if he ever becomes interested in me, I'm willing to wait as long as it takes. I had caught a bad cold and could barely let go of my handkerchief, and my eyes were watering from the fever. Worried, Hirano said I should go to the nurse's office, otherwise I'd only get worse before the festival and end up missing my almost date with Miyano. I listened, got permission to leave class, and headed to the infirmary. On the way, I ran into Miyano. It turned out he was going there too because he had burned himself during cooking class. Seeing how sick I was, he immediately started taking care of me, handed me tissues, gave me a thermometer, and wrapped me in a warm blanket. He said he would walk me home. I couldn't help asking why he was doing so much for me. Miyano blushed a little, but said he considers me someone precious. And that's when everything twisted inside me, because I had been hoping to hear something else, that he loved me.
At the festival, my class ran a cafe, and of course, Miyano stopped by to visit us. He ordered a coffee and then went to see the fortune teller. Although I still had 10 minutes left in my shift, my friends let me leave early. I got the chance to spend a little time with Miyano and support him before the contest. When it was Miyano's turn to go on stage, I was left speechless. He looked absolutely stunning. I don't like such contests, but I love seeing Miyano happy. He didn't manage to win, but he didn't get upset. Before he was called to go change, I managed to gently stroke his silky hair and touch his cheek. In the evening, we met again and watched the fireworks together. For the first time in 3 years of high school, I stayed until the very end of the festival. Usually I left much earlier, but today I wanted to spend as much time with Miyano as possible. He asked me once more to wait for his answer. I touched his hand. He didn't pull away. I told him I would wait as long as it takes. On the weekend, we met at the mall. I was there with my sister. I suggested we have some tea together, and then we went to the movies to watch a yaoi film. We looked exactly like we were on a date. There were only girls besides us in the theater. The film felt so realistic that Miyano even cried. We overheard the girls wondering whether we were a couple or not. I thought he would get embarrassed, but he just looked at me with loving eyes. I kept feeling like he wanted to tell me something, but couldn't bring himself to do it. I'm so glad we went to the movies together. My exams are coming up, so now I go to school earlier than usual. Because of that, I often meet Miyano on the train. I returned the book I had borrowed from him and briefly shared my thoughts about it. One day, I asked him about his plans for Christmas. There was going to be an exhibition related to the film we watched, and I asked him to come with me. He gladly agreed. A few days later, Miyano came to my classroom several times trying to talk about something, but each time he put it off. After classes, we met to walk home together and finally discuss everything. It was clear how nervous he was. I asked what was wrong. He blushed. I couldn't hold back my emotions any longer and leaned in to kiss him. He stopped me with his hand. I apologized, said I had to go home, and left. Miyano called after me, asking me to wait, but I ignored his plea. I walked away, blaming myself for what I did. We weren't even together, and I tried to kiss him. I should control impulses like that. At home, I got a voice message from Classmate saying I had forgotten something at school and needed to come back. On the way, I ran into Miyano. He had gotten off at my station on purpose to find me, and the message had been sent just to make sure we met. I apologized again for trying to kiss him. And then Miyano said that he liked me. I couldn't believe what I heard and asked him to repeat it. I told him not to rush and to think everything through, but he confidently said he was completely sure about his feelings. He explained that he hadn't pushed me away. He was just surprised and moved his hand instinctively. Then Miyano started saying that he loved me for my courage and for always supporting him, that he liked my hobbies and that being with him always made him feel calm. Then he took my hand and said that maybe this was what love felt like. I asked if we could hug. He agreed. We stood there for a long time, enjoying the moment. I gently touched his lips and asked if he wanted to kiss. He said he really did, and finally we shared a kiss. I couldn't believe my happiness.
Our hearts were pounding wildly. It was the first time for both of us. I hugged him even tighter. Suddenly, Miyano said loudly that he loved me and asked me to be his boyfriend. He added that he had read in a manga that a confession alone doesn't mean you are officially dating, which made me laugh. Then I asked him too if he would be with me. This is our story, and it will definitely continue tomorrow.